This is David Hoyta speaking. I just had a question for Dr. Sturman. Could you clarify what you meant, what the question was, how you were intending to use ultraviolet, I think you said, or infrared? Could you?
No, it wasn't ultraviolet, it was ultrasound. You know, one of the things that we do at Ptil Tekhelet, and Rav Shabtai mentioned that we had a lab back in his yeshiva. So in those days, the research was about actually just getting anything to be able to be dyed on an industrial scale. But we've never stopped trying to do research in order to improve efficiencies. One of the ideas that we had was to use ultrasound when we're doing the dye bath as a method of
Baruch, may I interrupt you for a second? I enabled people to chat. I didn't realize the chat is not working. Now it's working.
Okay, so I'll finish off, and then anybody else who has any questions, they can use the chat. What we're looking to do is to see how we can impregnate the wool, introduce the dye into the wool in a more efficient way. A lot of times when we do the dyeing, we end up taking the strings out or the wool out, and we see that it didn't adhere as well as we would like to, and we have to end up dyeing the wool a second time, or even throwing out the wool because it doesn't have the quality that we want. One of the possible ideas is to use ultrasound, which is kind of another substitute for heat. You've got all these problems when you're making tchelet. You have to make sure that the halacha is okay, you have to make sure that the dye is okay, and you have to make sure that the wool is okay. So by the time you're done with all of these things, you get yourself in a big problem because everything seems to contradict the other. But so too much heat is no good. So maybe ultrasound would be a possible way of getting around that. And it's one of the things that we're looking at. But again, it was an issue that we had to ask, or that we do want to ask. And it's good to hear that Rav Shabtai feels that wouldn't be a problem in terms of avodat yad and
Of course not. Of course not, because dyeing by cooking is also not avodat yad. The fire underneath is also not. It's not yad. It's but no, there's absolutely no problem. If you want a letter to this effect, I'm not a posek. I can write it right now. I was not aware of this problem, but sure.
Okay.